Welcome back to the PO3 Podcast. My name is Mark ass motherfucking Marx.
What's up?
A.K.A. the Sonic King.
Just John here, the fucking Brownsville Yeti.
I'm seated here with John. Hey, he's the Yeti now. A.K.A. the Brownsville Yeti. A.K.A. the Michigan Mauler.
That sounds kind of hard, bro. The Michigan Mauler.
A.K.A. the Gettysburg Gator.
Oh,
but he's the Yeti now. You're the Yeti.
The Yeti. What's up?
The Yeti. And because you're the Yeti, we got you the Yeti.
Oh, fuego. Oh. Sasquatch.
That's actually mine, but you're going to use it on the podcast.
Okay. I was going to keep like this, bro. We'll hold it.
The Yeti. And then I'm looking for like a little prop because I'm going to get an iguana. And
like an actual iguana or like
something, maybe. Because I'm the Sonic King and the lizards like, they like the heat.
Oh, okay.
They're cold-blooded.
I feel you.
So, what am I A.K.A. also? But then I want to get you like a little, like the prop. The Yeti prop, but I can't find them anywhere. You got to get them like online or something like that.
I'll figure it out. Brownsville Yeti, y'all. What's up?
Shout out
to the homie that calls me the Brownsville Yeti.
Shout out my cousin for giving him that name. How you like your little your setup there?
It's falling down.
Anyway, how you been?
Pretty good yourself.
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Not too much going on lately. I'm lying.
I'm back in the gym.
Oh yeah, so I meant to ask you about that too.
I mean, freshly, but yeah, I'm trying to start that again. So I could be the slimmer version of the Brownsville Yeti, like a Brownsville chimpanzee.
The Yeti. So,
something like that.
Because you didn't tell, I forgot to ask. You didn't tell me off air what you were gonna, why you were trying to change your lifestyle. It was for.
Oh yeah.
Can you just like whisper it to my ear? And,
I said I was gonna tell you off air, and I never did, huh?
Yeah. So go ahead and say it, and then I'll cut it out.
No, it's not a big deal. Just different. I'm trying to like pursue possible different employment avenues, and so just gotta be in better shape for that.
Okay, well, which one though?
Which what?
Yeah, like what avenue of employment? Like where you looking? Where you got your sites?
Oh, so it could be law enforcement, just different agency.
Oh, okay. Just like CHP or something?
I just want to leave it at that.
Okay.
Just because, yeah.
I mean, you could tell me. I'll cut it.
No, that's fine. I'll tell you.
I'll delete it.
Yeah, that's cool. It's cool. I'll tell you when this isn't recording.
Come on. I'm not a narc.
But you're Mark. It rhymes with narc.
It does, huh?
Look at that. I'm a freaking poet, and I knew it, or I know it.
So, speaking of fitness, I think I'm gonna do a 5K run tomorrow. But I'm not a runner though. So
what's that?
That's 3.2 miles.
3.2. That's pretty hard, man. I mean, I'm not saying you can't do it. It's just that's a lot of running. More than I'm willing to do. It better be a. Well, I can't say it can't be a big ass monster to make me run 3 miles. But I was gonna say, fucking kill me.
I'm not.
I'm not gonna die tired.
I'm not a runner. I love running, but like every time I run, I always end up getting hurt. Like every time. Like I always.
You're doing it wrong, my boy.
I always mess up my knee. I always sprain an ankle or something like that.
Well, this isn't timed or anything like that, right? So I mean, it's just like you accomplishing the run is what matters, right?
I would just like to do it just to do it. You know what I mean? My mom and my sister are gonna do it, so I like to go out there and do it with them. It's just, do I want to spend the $40 to go do it?
Yeah, why not?
It's like I got a gym membership. I walk in there and for $30 I can get a pretty good sweat.
Oh well,
just going there is a marathon.
What's the
So here's the reason I would run and I forgot. It's for blood cancer. So like
leukemia?
Yeah, something like that. Because my grandma, she died of that. She had something called scleroderma. And I guess it's like some type of blood cancer or something like that.
So the proceeds are going to
so my sister, she's gonna run and dedicate it to my grandma for that. So that's a good cause. You know what I mean? So I mean, if I'm gonna get out there and do it and give my $40, it'll go towards a good cause.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I know personally my family's been hit with cancer. You know, and I'm sure that goes for every family out there. It's a terrible disease. And so any funding for that, you know, I support 100%. I mean, I'll donate. I won't run, but
yeah, I mean, you can even walk it. Like, there's people out there just going to be out there to
support.
Just get out, and support. And then That's most likely what, if I go, that's probably what I'm going to do. Because it's not for me worth the injury. Knowing me, though, I'll probably just run. Yeah, like, I'm going to tell myself, I'll just walk. And then when they say go, I'm gone.
You're going to Forrest Gump it?
Yeah. yeah. How did you like that meme? Dude, you haven't been on since...
That thing was funny, bro. Like, it was funny as... Because, well, when you sent it to me, I was en route to work. So I just listened to it through the Bluetooth of my vehicle. Right?
Uh-huh. And so, you didn't see the visual?
No. So I went back and watched it when I got home that night. And that's when I watched it. And, bro, and it was the little...
Yeah,
the little scenes that you put in there were freaking funny, dude.
I was actually, like, pleased with my editing, my meme editing. I don't, like... Over the years, I messed around with editing and stuff and like created little memes, but this is probably the best one I've done.
I thought it was funny as hell, bro.
It looks like a legit meme.
Yeah.
And then like the fact that we went from like, all right, like let's tell this whole story. Mm-hmm. We still left out a bunch of stuff, but
there's a lot to cover.
There's a lot.
We were just, I think in that video, I just like, let's just start with his his accomplishments, what he's done in the movie.
Somebody on Instagram commented that we forgot, and I wish I would have brought it up. the quote, he's got a daddy named for us too.
Oh, see, I thought about that too, bro. It was Matt, right? Bro, I was gonna comment on that, come on, they bed sheets. Just
he's all, no, Forrest, it's your son.
Oh, that part.
Yeah, where he says he's got a daddy named for us too. We're just telling him like,
yeah, I got you.
I named him Forrest after his daddy.
Yeah.
And then he didn't get it, like it didn't click.
I took that to the beginning when he was like, I was named after my great uncle or great whatever. In the very beginning, that's where I went with that.
No, that's why it was funny because it didn't click in his head. Like, hey, dipshit, I'm telling you, this is your kid.
You got a daddy named Forrest too.
He just thought, hey, there's more than one Forrest out there.
Simple man, bro. That's a simple man.
But yeah, I was happy with the editing on that.
That came out good. I thought it was funny, dude. I thought it was funny.
So like I'm trying to put together like a fitness vlog, like a fitness transformation vlog, but I just can't get myself to like take the camera to the gym and like vlog it. Like, do you feel like when people are at the gym, because you've seen it before, right? Where people bust out the camera? Well,
when I had my little few years of time in the gym, it was way before people were like fitness vlogging and like I'm not saying I didn't see, like, you see people taking selfies, but as far as like recording their workouts and things like that, it was, I think I was in before that. The only people you would see doing that kind of stuff were like
actual
like
trainers.
Bodybuilders and things like that were, making like training videos and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I mean, to each their own, man. For me personally, when I'm there, it's just about me and, doing my thing.
Yeah, I don't want to get distracted.
If you can, are you going to talk during your vlog?
No, I would. No, definitely not. It would just be working out. But like, I want to incorporate something that has to do with the gym. You know what I mean? But I feel like a dipshit.
I feel like it would be easier for you if you had somebody like recording you.
Even then, though, it's just like I feel corny, like because I'm not big or anything. I'm not huge, like by any stretch of the imagination. But I've come a long way.
No, the picture that you posted of like that, was it like 9 months or whatever it was?
From March to October?
Yeah, or whatever the time frame. Yeah, that was
quite a difference.
A huge difference. I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
And it's even more so now. You know what I mean? But like, still in my head, I'm never satisfied.
Well, and that's the crappy part about being in the gym. It's just like, it's funny how you start off with one goal in mind and how it's slowly over time without you realizing it morphs into something different.
So, I faced one of my fears a little bit though. Because as you know, I've been wanting to get into boxing, and I'm like always self-conscious of like learning new things in public. Like for one, working out. Like I was afraid to go by myself because of like I didn't know what I was doing. You know what I mean? It had been a long time since I worked out, so I got over that. Eventually, got to the point where I was like, now I'm super super comfortable in my element. But boxing is a way different thing. Like you see people try to learn how to box, and it's just you look goofy. You're gonna look goofy. You're gonna look stupid, and it's just like. For me, I practice the fundamentals at home first, away from anybody, like in front of the mirror, trying to do the get the footwork down and like sync my fist to my feet. You know what I mean? That way, every time I throw, I'm moving my foot.
Stepping.
Yeah, I'm stepping, and rhythm and learning how to breathe and all that stuff before I even hit the bag. And so the other day, I've been wanting to like hit the bag because they got them set up right there. I was like, shit, let me just try a little bit. So next thing you know, I'm working it for like 20 minutes, dude, and just throwing punches on the bag and stuff. And now I know why they wear gloves, because you split your skin.
Yeah, that's why I got the scar right here.
Yeah, same here.
But that was different. We were doing some training at work that required striking, and they said like, hey, you could wrap your, wear some gloves or wrap your knuckles just so you don't. But like after the first cross, you come across and your knuckles just drag across the bag. I was like, oh, there goes my skin. And after like the first couple of minutes, I was already bleeding from my knuckles, and I was like, oh, this is fun and sanitary.
Now I don't mind it if it was my own bag, but the fact that other people's sweaty ass hands and feet are all over, and spit and everything are all over the bag, it's like it's probably not a good idea to be digging into there with my open wound flesh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it felt good to like actually do it. Just come out my comfort zone a little bit and just start hitting the bag, and like regardless of, granted there wasn't that many people there, but still, you know what I mean? Like I got over it. So
speaking of a lot of people, I was at the gym this morning.
You don't say.
And I do say. And I just remembered why I hate going during the day, bro. There's just people freaking everywhere.
What time did you go?
I think I got there about 10:40.
That's pretty early. That's pretty early.
Yeah, that's what. But that's what I'm saying. Like I like going toward the end of the day when people already kind of like when normal people are going to bed. Is when I like to go.
So you need like a 24-hour gym.
So yeah, they just recently changed their hours to 24, but it's only Monday through Thursday. And then it's like, what, I don't know when they open, but to like 10 or 8 or something like that on the weekends. So it kind of sucks because I'm working the days that are 24 hours. And then when I'm off, the hours change. So
well, how many hours you're working 16s, right?
A couple times a week, yeah.
So fitting it in before work or is out of the question?
Yeah, because when I get home, bro, I got like if I go to bed when I'm like as soon as I get home, which will never happen, I'll get like 5 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
But it usually turns into like 4. So yeah, it kind of sucks. So going before work is definitely not the thing. And then the area that I'm working, I'm on my feet all day, so I don't want to go to work already tired and then have to deal with stuff at work. You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather just be full charged, ready to go at work, well, as full charged as I can be after coming off of 16s. But
16s has got to be tough, huh? But you're probably used to it by now.
Yeah, I mean, you get used to it, but you're lethargic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a long time to be up.
Yeah.
And it's not like, well, there's times where we have a lot of downtime and we're just waiting for a call for service. You know what I'm saying? But it's not like you're not waiting for something. You know what I'm saying? So it's different being chilling on the couch for 16 hours versus, being required to do things and, taking calls for service. Even if they're nothing, you still got to go over there and ask questions. And
you just want to be 100%.
As 100% as one could be.
Yeah.
For the schedules that I have.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was gonna say like you could always go before or after, but with a schedule like yours, it's a little tough working. I mean, anybody would be discouraged to go after working at 16 or knowing that you're about to go in for a 16.
It won't happen on the days that I work unless like because there's a couple days a week where I know for a fact I'm working at 16, and then there's some days where I don't know. Like I'll either sign up for overtime, and then if I get a call, I get a call. Or a couple times that happened this past couple weeks, I've been mandated, so I had expectations of going home. They told me I wasn't, that I had to stay.
How do you feel about that when they tell you stuff like that? But I mean, you probably already
to me,
accepted
I accepted it when I was at my previous employer, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was getting hit all the time, like, hey, you're up, So you just learn to roll with the punches. It just sucks sometimes when you have something planned, coming up and then you can't. And it's like, damn, the one day that I have something to do is the day that I get hit. But it's part of the program, and I don't really complain about it,
Yeah, just learning how to like deal with shit when it comes up is a very, very important tool to have. Because I'm the type who would be like, man, fuck that, I'm not staying. They can't make me stay.
Well, is that or
but it's like that or all right, well, we'll let you go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's the alternative. I mean, I don't think it results in a termination. Like,
but still, it's like,
but it's gonna. You can only get away with it for like once or twice before it becomes like an issue, and you don't want to be that person that at least I don't. Where like it's like, oh, there he is again. There's the Brownsville Yeti complaining.
The Yeti.
Oh, look, he found a reason not to stay.
Yeah.
Now somebody else is gonna have to. So it's part of the thing. There's things you can do to get around it. Like if you work. So the 2 16s that I worked this past week, right? Those were to get time off. because I have someone, I work for them, and then they cover my shift in that week. So if I were to work 2 overtimes in 7 days, so aside from those 2, then it drops me to the bottom of the mandate list.
Mm-hmm.
So there's things you can do to get yourself from being at the top of the list to the bottom of the list.
Like lessen the likeliness or the likelihood that you'll be chosen to work the 16.
Exactly. Yeah, because they try to do it as fair as possible. So they have like a list. So it's like, okay, who has the last mandate, right?
Yeah.
And then they see who's available to mandate. And then, okay, hey, Mark, your last mandate was, 2 weeks ago. John, yours was yesterday. So Mark's at the top of the list, and John's has to be below Mark. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So they try to make it as fair. But again, you learn to roll with the punches, bro. And then, like I said, it sucks when you're there, but when you get that extra check, it's like, I guess it wasn't that bad.
Mm-hmm.
So,
you know what I really want to do though? Kind of aside like any topics, but like, how cool would it be to just have like a guy though, like in the quarter, like just bullshitting with us? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do you think we could use your little your 4K, what is it? The GoPro?
Oh. Yeah, we could try it
like
out.
Just throw it on that little stand right there and just like have somebody in the desk right there. Because you know what I notice a lot, like in a lot of the podcasts I listen to, like they'll say something funny and you could just hear the background cracking
People,
up.
okay,
like,
yeah.
I'm just like, bro, that like just creates a whole different environment. Like,
yeah.
Like how
you try it out, see how it looks.
It's just like who though? Like who the hell's gonna want to come?
I'm sure there's a lot of people that would like.
I almost asked one of my what's his name? Aaron to come through. It was just like, hey, bro, you just want to come like sit in on the but it's like he's gonna be bored.
So, we could try to find and make it work.
I want to do that though. I want to.
Well, if I end up getting my own camera,
yeah,
we'll have more space available with
Well, we could just do it with the what's it called, the GoPro. They used it for streaming.
Yeah, but the quality wasn't that good though. So I mean, my stream's like okay, but it's not like it's not this.
But it would just be for like maybe like a minute or 2 tops that the camera would even cut to.
I mean, yeah, we could try that out. See how it works out.
Yeah, it wouldn't be like, you know how like it shows like a close up of you, close up of me.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be like all 3 of us at the same time. It's either you talking me or whoever the person's gonna be.
Yeah, no, I'll bring it through next time.
Well, I mean, we'd have to bring the person, but
well, yeah, I guess we'll just have a camera on the couch.
How? Just I got Wilson. You know Wilson?
The volleyball?
The volleyball from Castaway. We'll just put him right there.
That'll work.
But yeah, that's been something I've been thinking about. Like, how can we expand? And like, how can we make this more exciting and engaging and like make the topics go away sometimes? You know what I mean? Or awry.
Well, definitely. If we had Aaron here, that would definitely probably happen more times than not.
Or just anybody, you know?
No. I know what you're saying. I'm just for him in particular.
Oh yeah, it would for me. It would be fun though.
Like I already hear his laugh, dude.
Yeah. Like my aunt, she said like the first thing when you came on, like because when Victor Jr. was on the podcast in the beginning, it was like more serious. You know what I mean? Like which is fine, but like the topics that we were often discussing weren't comedy. Like it was like deeper shit. And then when you came on, she was like, you guys just begin to have a bro fest.
Well, there's history there, you know?
And like we were just broing out, but like, I mean, that's cool, but I prefer it that way. You know, like I like to have fun. Like,
yeah, I like the conversations that we, tend to have here to have some serious, continuity to it. But then I also like the breaks where we tell dumb stories or we'll have a 20-minute session with Forrest Gump, It's fun. It's like free flowing.
Yeah,
we're not tied down to any specific. At least that's how it feels to me. I don't know how you feel about it, but I like that aspect of it. That way it's not the same grind in and out. But
yeah, because if you knew every time you were gonna come in here and I'm just saying like, "Hey, John, I'm still depressed," it's like that shit gets old. Like
you may want to cut this out because I told him I gave him the channel.
Oh, okay, I'll cut it out. Okay, cool. I'll cut it out. I won't go any further than that. I don't know. Like, for me, it wouldn't bother me just because, like, it's an acquaintance to me. You know what I mean? It's not like if it was you or somebody and I seen you and then I'm going and talking shit. Like, after I seen you, it's like you're a buddy of mine.
Yeah, we'll just cut that part out.
But, like, if you knew every time that you were coming on the podcast that it was just going to be me talking about like doing my therapy and using you as my therapist, which it works that way unconsciously. You know what I mean? Like that just happens, like communicating and stuff. Like you eventually stumble upon some serious shit, and at the end of it, it feels like it was a therapy session, but it was unintentional. But if you knew that you were just coming here for me to get all of my demons out and like bring them to you for you to evaluate, you'd feel the mental pressure of that on your shoulders. You'd be like, man, it's like I feel like I'm going to work.
That's a possibility. I mean, to be fair though, I haven't felt that way, so maybe we just haven't done it enough to get to that point. But I mean, I won't say that it's not a possibility, but
that's what I'm saying though, is like I wouldn't want it to be like that. So the dynamic that we have created, and which I want the dynamic to be, is just like there are no topics. Yeah, the primary foundation is mental health, but at the same time, I want us to know we could just veer off in any direction and it's cool. And that's where you integrate having fun into it. You know what I mean? Like there's no rules. Like that's what podcasting was invented for, like the filterless content that you get, because everybody's used to that mundane radio voice with the censors, and you can't say fuck and you can't say certain things, and you cut to a commercial every 5 minutes, and it's just like, nah, that's what made podcasting popular. It's like we get to come on here and we could talk about pussy and riverboat gambling trips and making beef jerky.
There you go.
We literally have done none of those things.
Yeah, but still, well, brisket.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's funny, like the things that
that people pick up on.
Yeah, like my cousin's like real particular on that stuff. Like he probably knows more about cinema and just like cold classic shit like than anybody else I know. Like him and his brother, they could legit open up, like, you know those shops you see like of like vintage toys and comics and stuff like that, like almost like a pawn shop. They could definitely open one of those if they wanted to, because they got like so many collectibles and stuff.
That's pretty cool.
But so all the things that I like peep game on when it comes to like cinema or anything like that, like I'm learning it from these people, like the people that grew up in the 70s and 80s. You know what I mean? I would say 80s, not 70s, but
I don't know why I'm like thinking of another name.
For what?
Just like a nickname, just like Bohemian came to mind, but I'm trying to think of something stupid to go with it.
For
just like we got the Brownsville Yeti.
You're digging through names. I think I have some.
Bohemian, I don't know, Bohemian Bull or something like that. I don't know. I don't know why Bohemian came to mind, but it did. Brownsville Yeti. You actually wrote some down?
I thought I did.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, it's just I didn't write them down. I like mine though. The Sonic King.
Sonic King has gold rings everywhere.
Sonic King.
Oh, Sonic King. I heard that's Sonic.
Yeah, see, you said that last time. You thought I said Sonnet or Sonic. It's like, no, like I have yet to meet my match in the sauna. That's why I call myself the Sonic King.
Bruh.
What? Oh, you think it's you?
I'm sure I give you a run for your money.
We'll see.
Give me some time to get acclimated, but I'm
okay. I'll go.
I'll go.
What's the longest you ever like just sat in?
40, 45 minutes.
Oh, easy.
Yeah, easy. I would actually, when I actually met my girlfriend, or when her and I first started talking, I would go to the gym with a buddy of mine, and he lives in Kingsburg, so I drive to his house from Lemoore, about 25, 30 minutes, and then we'd carpool to the gym he goes to in Selma. We would do our workout, but they didn't have a sauna, so after I would leave his house, I'd drive to the gym that I went to in Hanford and stay there for an hour and then some change in the sauna.
Did you hit push-ups too in there?
I used to, not so much anymore.
I do. I started incorporating them into the I just feel like you get more of a sweat.
The sauna obviously. The gym that I was going to that had a sauna, it's no longer open after COVID. They shut down that gym. The sauna, bro, was tiny. So there was like, you'd be that asshole just taking up, gratuitous amounts of space in a very small area. So sometimes when there was like, it was just me by myself in there, I would, and then someone would walk in, then I'd stop and just, chill out.
Yeah. I've yet to meet my match, dude. Like apparently 10, 12 minutes is what everybody does. The majority of people do 10, 12 minutes, or they'll stay in there 20, but they'll get out after like 10 minutes and then they'll take another 10-minute break and then come back in.
Yeah, I was saying there were times where my phone would turn off.
Oh yeah, mine all the time. That's what so I set my alarm one time, right? And this was probably one of the times I was in there 45 minutes, maybe an hour. I was meditating with my head down, and I have my timer set for 30 minutes, and it didn't go off. But I'm still meditating, doing my little mantra, and just, thinking whatever. And time just goes by, and I basically fell asleep. And then somebody opened the door, and I guess it woke me up, or it caught my attention. And I look at my phone and it's dead. I'm just like, oh, well, no wonder my alarm didn't go off. And I'm just sitting there, and I get out and my face is just fucking bloodshot red, dude. But I've yet to meet my match. Like, I'll see people come in, and I'll be in there before them, and they'll sit there and they'll struggle a little bit, and then they'll leave. I'm just like, all right, cool, I beat that person. You know what I mean? And then another person will come in and do the same thing. I was like, all right, I beat you. And then it's just like, just playing this game subconsciously with people, just like seeing if I can outlast them, even though they came in after me. You know what I mean? And I'm undefeated. I'm undefeated, but I love it though. Like, it's not like a chore for me. Like, I love to just sit in there and meditate and stuff, which I haven't done in a while, but I did it the other day. Normally I'll just bump some music in there, which it didn't start that way. I would usually just go in and then do my meditation, and just no distractions, like musically, nothing like that. No external source distracting me from my thoughts other than the people in there. I would just close my eyes and then just like repeat a mantra. But I hadn't done that a good while, just because I came to enjoy music while working out. But the other day I did it. I was like, wow, this is really, really calming and a good way to like end the workout, So I'm gonna start doing that again, and like focusing more on clearing my head and using that time to like reflect rather than just like vibe out to a song, Do you meditate?
No. Don't even know how I would do that.
I know the purpose of it is to like clear your head, right? And just find a little bit of balance. But it's like, at the same time, you're going to be distracted, which they say is okay. It's okay to have these distracting thoughts. That's normal. Like, you can't shut your brain off. But creating a mantra for yourself and like making sure that you're like somewhat centered and calm and like focusing on your breathing is where like practicing meditation pays off in the long run, But I recommend it. I think it's really good to like calm your nerves and everything if you haven't tried it. So what I usually do is I'll just sit in there and I'll just like, I created a mantra for myself. I created 3 words that have some significant meaning to me, and that like something I can use to like, I don't know, I guess self-motivate, you know what I mean? So I created 3 words, and I'll say them to myself just on a continuous loop over and over and over and over for 20 minutes. So, but as I'm saying those words, I'm not just saying the words. I'm remembering the definition of those words and why I put them into the mantra, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So rather than just saying 3 words that have no meaning and just saying it to say it.
Yeah, it gives a meaning.
Yeah. I remember why I put them in there and why I'm doing what I'm doing.
That's pretty cool. Maybe I'll have to give that a try one of these days.
No, for real, like try it. Like,
no.
Because it's hard to just like be at home and do it, right? Like, you don't want to do it in your house. A lot of people do though. They'll take time if they're alone, and they'll dedicate 10 to 15 minutes to just sitting there, and they'll close their eyes and they'll focus on their breathing, and they'll say their mantra and then go out and continue the rest of their day, you know what I mean? But for me, it's just like I force myself to do it because I'm going to go in the sauna anyway. And then that's when I learned to like calm all the demons and shit, you know what I mean? Which really, really helps.
No. I've heard really good things about it, just never.
But you're not like a hippie that way, huh? Like, you've never been into anything like that, like.
Can't say that I have. Spiritually. No, I'm still very.
Like surface level?
Yeah. I'm like in the infancy stage of, exploring that.
I wouldn't even call it enlightenment, but I guess that's the ultimate path, right? Like being on the path to enlightenment, which, is there really anybody who's enlightened? Even they would say that they're not. They're still pursuing it, and that's why they continue to do it. Otherwise, they would stop. It's like, well, I reached enlightenment already. There's no point to press on.
No, I mean, I figure it's like one of those things. Once, let's say you reach enlightenment, you have to stay enlightened. You don't get like a badge, and okay, you could check that off your bucket list. I feel for that. It's a continuous effort, because I imagine it's kind of like, ever heard the term like, falling from grace? I feel like you can.
Yeah, but I don't know what it means.
Well, just like, like you were in a good, like, in a gracious position, just like
Like knocked off your pedestal?
Yeah, and you lost your way. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel with in being like, going the enlightened route, it's just as it applies to that as well. Like you can be enlightened for X amount of time,
and then something will fuck everything up, and then
whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like you have to reach enlightenment, and you have to maintain. It's not something you just don't do it once and then you're done. And then it's with you forever.
Well, that's why it's a pursuit. Like you never actually get there. You know what I mean? Like it's otherwise if you don't continue to practice it, you're gonna forget how to be humble, because you can forget how to be humble. Like oftentimes, that's why people say they've been reality checked. You know what I mean? That's what humbles them and stuff. Like there's this YouTuber I watch had a heart attack. Prior to the heart attack, he was the most flashy, like I don't want to say pretentious, but like he was very full of himself. You know what I mean? All about money, monetary values, and like that was at the top of his list. And then after the heart attack, everything went the other way. He sold his cars, his jewelry, and stuff, and he said he became humbled.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's when it comes to health in particular, to get a little personal, I'm sure I've at some point mentioned it on the podcast, and maybe I didn't, but when I had kidney stones, I had no idea what the pain I was feeling. It woke me out of a dead sleep. I didn't work at 16 that day, but I was on the graveyard shift. I was working 11 to 7. And so it was like maybe 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning. I was sleeping and it just like woke me up, dude. And then the whole process of going down to the ER, because I had this weird pain in like the lower right side of my stomach, but it was a pain I can't describe. It just felt like a weird pressure, and being in the hospital, going through all the testing, and like my room was next to the entrance for the ambulances. So you've seen people just getting, wheeled in from ambulances and stuff. And I was like, dude, this is like, it was a very humbling, humanizing experience. Like because until something like a heart attack, or, I'm not going to compare my kidney stones to this guy's heart attack, but until you're in a situation where your health is like in potential jeopardy.
It gives you perspective,
you feel invincible up until that point, because oh yeah, I've fallen down, I've broken bones, but it's like scrapes and bruises, whatever. You get used to that kind of pain. But when it's something completely unknown, and now you're sitting in a hospital, it's a very humbling experience. Like you're like, damn, it brings you back down and roots you back to the planet Earth, And so I feel I can understand where the guy's coming from. Again, I didn't have a heart attack, but just being in that environment, dude, it was just like, dude. And then they tell you like, oh well, it's likely this, but it could be, bladder cancer.
But the fact that you didn't know what it was scary.
Well, yeah. And so like, it didn't give me like, for this guy, I didn't sell all my stuff and become a monk, you know what I'm saying? But it was still a humbling experience, because up until that point, you feel invincible. For this guy, he was on top of the world. The world was his oyster.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he was on, I guess he had fame, he had money, he had all the things that people think bring you meaning and life. And it took one heart attack, one traumatic health experience for it to like completely change his way of thinking. And it puts things into perspective for you. What matters, because this podcast I was listening to, they were talking about relationships and things of that nature. And the guy that was the host of the podcast was talking about, he was watching another podcast and they were talking about this, and they had like a single dude, newly married couple, and then they had like an older couple, and the older guy was just like, after you raise kids and you get old, he's like, that's when you're going to start to value companionship. He goes, because when you're 70 years old, no one wants to be in a home alone. And so for this guy in the heart attack, it sounds like, well, he had the cars, he had the money, he had whatever clout that he was trying to obtain, and he pointed to him that none of that really matters.
Yes, I forget where I heard this, but somebody said that if you think money is going to make you happy, then you've never had real money like that. It makes sense?
A little bit, yeah.
It's just like, if you think that becoming rich is going to
I see,
give you happiness and give you everything that you fill that void, then you've never been rich.
Because they would tell you if you're rich, it doesn't bring you.
Then none of that changes. And it's funny that you said that, because like, Yeah, the same dude that went through that. He mentioned that. He was like, yeah, all this money and shit. Like, this is not what it's about. Put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Having money makes things easier in life.
Of course, convenient.
But as far as bringing value and meaning to someone, to your life, or your life, not you, but your life in particular, it goes like, dude, like it's not going to buy you.
Can't buy
a free pass to just like health.
Yeah.
You can have all the money in the world. Yeah, you can get the best doctors, but it's not a guarantee that you have. If you have $6 million, we can guarantee you'll live till X amount of age, and you're not going to have X amount of problems. Like, this is all outside of your grasp of control. So, what should you be focusing on? Money, or the important things to me. That same podcast guy was talking about. There was 3 words. It was he said these 3 words suck. You can see the podcast went on like, he's like, what's the worst thing about marriage? Tell me something that you hate about marriage. And the guys were like, oh, my wife's watching. I can't, And he goes, well, I'll say it. And he's just like, responsibility. Responsibility sucks. No one wants to be responsible. He goes, what's the next word? He's the A word. He's like, accountability. He's like, being accountable for things. It sucks. What's the next one? It was responsibility, accountability, and was not companionship. It was started with a C. But anyway, he says anything in life requires
courageous.
No, or maybe it was D. Dependability or something like that. I'm not sure what it was, but he said anything that you do in life that's worth having, you have to have all 3 of those things. If you want to be, he's like, if you want to be the biggest guy in the gym, you want to be a champion.
Accountability.
You got to hold yourself accountable.
Maybe discipline.
There it was, discipline. He goes, you have to be disciplined with your diet. You have to make sure you go to the gym. You have to hold yourself accountable to doing this, and you have to be responsible and do it. He goes, if it's being a millionaire, a billionaire, whatever it is in life that you're going to be doing, you have to it requires all 3 of those words. And he goes, and they suck. But he's like, at the end of that road, what you find is, he's like, there's nothing comparable to it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's what, that guy that had that heart attack kind of experienced, albeit in a shitty way, to, take a heart attack, which, a lot goes with that, to kind of change his perspective on things. But it's one of those things where they say it was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, blessing, and most of the time, if you look at it the right way, glass half full rather than half empty, it's always a blessing in disguise. There's always a silver lining to whatever situation that you're in. Even the most horrific situations, unfortunately, have a silver lining.
Yeah, I had a teacher tell me that in my freshman year. He said, I can find the bright side of a train wreck. You just got to look, and the tragic, whatever, people die. But it was kind of like a crude way of putting it, but I got his point.
Yeah, but the moral of the story is there usually is a silver lining if you just look at the correct angle, you know what I mean, and view it from the right viewpoint. But like circling back, you can become humbled like that. But also, after your kidney stones, how long did it take for you to like actually neutralize and become the person that you were prior to having that feeling and that incident? Because you go back to ground zero, you're not so humbled anymore.
No, of course. I mean, I would say like
that's why it's a practice.
Like they're like, hey, you have to take in a lot of water. You have to watch these types of foods because they produce these types of chemicals in your body that produce kidney stones. He was like, for about 10 years, you have about a 50% chance in getting them again. Don't drink soda. Don't drink energy drinks. And for like the first few months, like you couldn't get me near a can of soda or an energy drink, and then slowly but surely,
okay,
I started. It was
fear faded.
So,
that's what I'm saying. How long did it actually take from that humble experience to like for you to like become less fearful?
A few months. It wasn't like a crazy amount of time that I would be proud to say, oh, I still, I still don't do it. But now,
obviously, the experience varies, right? Like, you have a heart attack, that's a really life-threatening, life-changing experience in anybody's life. So the duration at which your fear exists is going to be a lot longer than if it were on a smaller scale, like something like breaking your leg or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that PTSD isn't as severe as something like that. But still, depending on because people vary, right, in personality. Some people are more stubborn. Some people are more hard-headed. And sometimes even tragic events will happen to people because of their own actions, and they still refuse to be humbled.
I wouldn't say it's a refusal to be humble, as more of it was just kind of like being human.
No, I'm not saying that you directly, but I'm saying some people.
I know, I understand what you're saying. But like I have people in my family that were, had diabetes, and they were given a very strict diet, very strict, like, and I'm sure people that had diabetes,
Yeah.
Sometimes they lose a toe and then it turns to half the foot and so on, and ultimately it ended up taking the life of some of my family members, and they just refused to do what was saying, like, dude, if you don't change, you're gonna die.
Yeah, no gray areas.
And exactly, and I mean, I'm not, shaming them for anything. I mean, it's their life, their choice, do what you want. But it's just, even with people where they're given those, essentially, in my eyes, an ultimatum. Like, hey, bro, this is what you're staring down the barrel of. These are the options you got. You can do this or do that, but you already know what that path is going to lead to. And still, people, just like alcoholics.
Yeah. Hey,
your liver's shot. Well, I'm not going to stop drinking. I'm going to die drinking my beer or whatever my choice of beverage is, and I'll die happy. So I mean, I don't know what it is. I don't think it's a lack of being or a lack of humility. I think it's just, I don't know, man, free choice and people just wanting to do what they want.
Well, that too, and then a lot of people are just stuck in their ways,
Yeah, I would say being stubborn is probably a big one, just because I'm guilty of it. I'm no saint when it comes to that. I try not to be as best as I can. I was actually talking with the guy I ran to at the mall, and I was like, dude, sometimes looking yourself in the mirror and actually like asking yourself, like, what don't I like about myself? What can I change? It's a hard pill to swallow, because then you have to face.
We talked about this the other day. Remember, you texted that to me.
I did? I don't recall.
Did you text it to me or? No, it was on our last podcast.
Oh, I don't recall.
You said that it takes a specific, or at least a strong-willed individual to actually take accountability and look in the mirror.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm sorry for bringing it up again, but
revise what's truly there.
And no one
say
wants
the problem
to do
is me.
And no one wants to do it, man. And I don't know if it takes a person to get down to like at the bottom of their or the bottom of their barrel. Just like I'm at my ultimate low.
I think so, dude.
And to make people change, I wish. I don't think I got there to my ultimate low, but I was nearing it. You know what I'm saying? Just like, I turned to books, man. You know what I'm saying? I was like, you know what? I'm not the only person out here that suffers from the issues I don't like about myself. And I found a book that applied.
Like what though?
Like it was a relationship thing. And
we talked about this before.
And I read this book, and seeing the things that I guess were less desirable traits to possess when it came to a relationship, and seeing like, damn, I do that. It was I don't even want to say a bitter pill. It was like the most disgusting horse pill size that you can take. But, it was one of those things where it's like, you know what, like the common denominator in all these, failed relationships was me. Maybe I was the person putting out these vibes that weren't being received. And so after I did that, and I started noticing some changes, in myself and the way I would handle myself in those situations, and it was a good one. So then I was like, you know what? There's other things that I can change about myself, and I started reading more books and things like that. So I say that to tell all of you guys that listen, try your best not to get to that bottom, because it's a gloomy, dark place to be.
I don't know though. I want to disagree with you on that, because I think the only thing that actually makes change happen is that ultimate failure. Like once you do reach the rock bottom, it's like you have to go through those emotions in order to like put in perspective where you need to go. Because a lot of people, if they never get to that point where you're talking about, change never happens. They kind of just keep going about their business.
That's what I'm saying though. Like it shouldn't.
I would actually recommend fail more. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, yeah, failure is going to show you your shortcomings for sure, but I'm not saying not to fail. I'm not saying to nothing, because failure comes. There's a plus side to failure. You can be better, But I'm saying like there's, well, to give it some sort of, quantifiable measure, we'll say rock bottom's at 100. Okay. Do you have to reach 100, or is 90 good enough for you to want change?
You're saying recognize when you're going towards that path.
Like you don't have to get down to the bottom of your barrel to see that there's things at yourself you can change, because to me it's like, okay, well, I'm not there yet, so I'll just wait till I get there. You're just going to put yourself through more misery in the process.
Be aware.
So,
in other words.
So just like, I know for myself, there's things that I could work on. Still to this day, you know what I'm saying? And so it's not something that, you read one book and everything changes. It's the same thing as your path to enlightenment. It's a constant pursuit of this. And as a matter of fact, I was listening to my mom talk with my mom, and I had Jordan Peterson on. She was like, this guy's like speaking to me right now. She's like, I can't really understand what he says sometimes. She goes, but she's like my mom's in her 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, maybe this is what you needed to hear, I mean, so there's no time frame that's too late to start, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think you have to reach the very bottom, to rock bottom, to want to pursue yourself or to push yourself into a different direction.
For sure, you don't have to reach it, but for some people, they're just ignorant to the fact that they're actually already there.
That could be the case, but
because a lot of people, like I said, that stubbornness and that hard-headedness and being stuck in your ways. And the only reason I say this is because I was that fucking guy. I didn't think I was the problem. I thought everybody else was the problem. And then I've said this before, but it's like, if you think you're surrounded by assholes all day, you're probably the asshole, But sometimes I feel like not everybody has, and I don't even want to call it intelligence. It's just like the know-how to look in the mirror right way.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't think people do it at all.
They don't, but it's just like there's nobody in their lives telling them this shit. Yeah, there's nobody. There's nobody like surrounding them that even gives a fuck enough to even bring up the issue, because like a lot of the times people will be like an alcoholic or whatever, or drug addict, for example. Like if you have these people in your life, it takes a lot of fucking balls to actually speak up and tell them like, hey, dude, like, you're fucking up, right? Like you're messing your life up. You're affecting me now. And this is bad for you. You need to change your ways. A lot of people are afraid of that conflict. So they're just like, I guess he'll get it together. You know what I mean? Like maybe he'll wake up one day.
It's just one of those things where they need different friends, because.
But even then, they don't even understand that. Like they need to switch that up.
No, I mean, I hear what you're saying. I just feel like my what I'm trying to say is, yeah, I mean, hitting rock bottom is definitely going to be a very humbling experience. You know what I'm saying? Because you're at the bottom, there's nowhere to go but top. But I feel that if you were to start looking, and again, you may be at, like I said, 100 being the absolute worst, and 0 is the absolute best, and you might only be like at a 15, but that's still 15 lower than you could be. Yeah. And so I feel like you don't have to get all the way down the bottom. I just feel like if you want change, like if you sat down, as a matter of fact, that day I was listening to my mom with JP, he was like, if you sat down on your bed and actually asked yourself what's wrong with you, but you have to want to know the answer. Just not saying the words is enough. You actually have to want to know, like, what? Okay,
but you also have to know the question too, which is the hardest part, I would argue.
Well, I mean,
like, what question do you even ask to get to those answers?
Well, but again, I think it's pretty simple. What's wrong with me? Yeah. What can I change? Why am I not where I want to be? Why is things? He's like, you sit back, and if you actually want the answer, he's like, you'll get the answer so fast it'll make your hair curl. And because you already know what it is. You're just, like you said, people are ignorant and they turn the blind eye to it and they don't want to face it. If you actually sat there and asked yourself, what don't I like about myself? Why am I not doing whatever it is I could be doing? And you actually wanted to hear why you're not. I truly believe, it'll slap you right in the face like, holy crap, here it is. But you have to want to know. And
that was one of the reasons why he said, sorry to cut you off, but like, before I forget, that was one of the reasons that he brought up was why people don't care about themselves more, right? Is because people tend to neglect themselves and their health, mm-hmm. and they're not like hesitant to pick up the bottle or do these things that are gonna like decline their mental health, physical health, all that, because they know their own deepest, darkest secrets. They know what they're capable of. You can't run from your consciousness. You know it's there. Just like you said, if you ask the question, it'll fucking slap you in the face how fast you'll be able to come up with that answer. And the reason people have a tendency to neglect themselves is like, why am I going to care about myself when I'm a piece of shit? You know what I mean? Like, I know what I'm capable of. Why would I try and take... That's like somebody on the street who's being a fucking prick to you, cutting you off in traffic, and then you see him later on the side of the road. I'm not going to go give you a jump. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to help you with your car issues. You were just being a fucking prick to me, and I don't even know you. You know, it's like that. That's like, why would I help that person? You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. But I think that comes down to, again, you wanting to change. It's like, because you're gonna give me the version of yourself that you want me to see.
100%. 100%.
So I am never gonna know what's going on in your mind, what you need, unless you tell me, right? And I'm sure there's probably some signs that would indicate something, but I'm not a psychologist, so I don't know what those things would be. But for the most part, if you don't tell me, I'm not going to know. So if you're doing that to yourself, like, well, why would I do this? Because I'm a piece of shit, da-da-da-da-da. Well, who's going to do it then? Because no one's going to know what your inner demons, what I'm saying? Because you're not telling anybody about it. So it's your own personal responsibility to do it for yourself, because no one's going to come on a horse and knock on your door and say, hey, John, you got these problems. You need to work on them. Okay, thanks, dude. Like, it's not going to work that way, And then my whole point in saying that, though, is I truly feel that we're the gatekeepers of our own destiny and happiness, man. Why would you guys want to wait till they get to the rock bottom? If these words that I'm saying now can chime into something in your brain and help you say, maybe, you know what, like, damn, I am pretty close to like my absolute.
I'm not even saying that I don't think necessarily anybody wants to get there though.
No, but why wait? You know what I'm saying? Because you were saying that, some people, that's what it takes. Yeah, some people need to play with fire
to get burned.
To realize, if you play with fire, you're going to get burned. For me, as best I can, I really try learning from other people's experiences. And so in that case, well, how it applies to what I'm saying is, well, I'm sure rock bottom would be a harsh reality check and a nice, slap in the face to kind of get these going. But do I really got to get that low? Do I really got to put myself through all these issues and ugly thoughts about myself, or can I kind of start changing it now?
But do you think just the thought of hitting rock bottom induces the same feeling and motivation as actually hitting rock bottom? Do you think those two feelings are the same? Like, is it enough energy to create that propulsion to like push you towards the direction you need to go?
I think it could be if you're open to it.
I think also it can be if you visualize enough and you're able to see the picture of what rock bottom might look like.
Yeah,
but also a lot of people, they don't know how to visualize. They don't see the vision.
That could be the case.
Lack of vision, you know what I mean?
But I think it's, you can invoke the same feelings if you, or like you said, have the vision.
It varies per person, man.
But I think everybody possesses it. It's just, again, it's okay. Let me give you an example. It's like when people talk about ghosts and stuff, right? Okay, I've had my encounters, whatever, but I haven't seen anything that makes me like, dude, these things are 100% real. There's an afterlife. But I'm also not going to go looking through doors to find it, if that makes sense. Because I'm not going to be happy
with what you find.
With what I find. And I think that's the same as if you're going to want to invoke change in yourself before you get to rock bottom, you have to be willing to open that door and see what's on the other side. And I think that's the part that people probably get hung up on, is that harsh reality of all the things about yourself that you don't like, that you put in the back of your brain and store away, are all going to be standing there at the threshold of the door. And it's going to be like, damn, that's me. Nope, I don't like that. And close the door. Or you could be like, you know what? That sucks. But I opened the door and now I can change it. I've identified the problems with myself, That again, you mentioned everyone is different. And that's how my brain operates. It didn't in the past, but I feel like, with trying to remain as open-minded as I can, I feel like it's led me to being I don't want to say a more complete person, but I'm more comfortable with myself in the path that I'm headed down. If I'm explaining that well enough.
Yeah. You're you're less, I want to say, like eggshells, maybe. Like less of that feeling. Because you're not so quick to like create a conflict with somebody's views that you don't agree with, because now you're more open-minded to it. So you're comfortable with engaging in the idea of like, hey, maybe this person just lives differently than I do.
Yeah. Like,
because when
I actually appreciate the pushback that you did when you said you don't necessarily agree, because that's making me stand on my argument. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm okay, like he's just going to roll over and take it. You know what I'm saying? And I like that pushback, because it could also, with you pushing back, could also like, oh no, wait, I didn't think of it that way. You know, so it's good to have this discourse going back and forth where we have varying opinions on the same thing. I actually really like that. But when I say try to be open-minded, like I think I mentioned on the podcast before, people tend to listen only to respond. They don't listen.
Oh yeah,
they don't listen to listen for the sake of listening.
Yeah, I even try to like, it's a practice, dude. Like even when you're talking, I'm trying not to just figure out what I'm going to say after you're done talking, because once I'm thinking of what I'm saying, how am I going to be listening and taking in what you're saying in the moment?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? A lot of people don't listen that way or converse that way.
And actually, Jordan Peterson, I watched a video a few weeks ago, and he had mentioned a little thing you can do to actually help yourself listen to people.
Get a shocker?
Not quite that intense, but he said when he was early on in his clinical practices as a psychologist, he found himself getting bored with what they were telling him. He found himself, dare I say, watching the clock until the session was over, and they weren't getting the best of him. He wasn't listening. So he said what he started doing was he would listen and repeat what they said to the point that they had to agree with what he said. So what you're saying is XYZ. No, actually I said XWR. Okay, so then he does it again until he gets you to say, yep, that's exactly what I just said. He's like, now you've listened and you're understanding their perspective.
It's like reading out loud.
Almost, exactly, yeah. But you're just reciting to the person, like, I was like, hey, so what you meant was da-da-da-da. No, I didn't mean that at all. Oh, okay, so tell me again.
As a patient, I'd be like, you condescending fuck.
Right? But
he just repeats everything I say.
But he said it helped him start to be able to listen to what they were saying versus just trying to, okay, you told me what you said, here's what I'm saying about it now.
Yeah.
You know? Because he wanted to understand their price. Like, and then once I was able to do that, he's like, my patients became unbelievably interesting to me.
Because he's actually listening to them.
Now I'm actually engaged in listening. So he's like, try this. You know, if you're having trouble listening to people, try it. And when they're talking to you, you have to repeat back what they told you. And they have to say, yeah, that's exactly what I said. Not like verbatim, but like you're like, okay, I understand what you're saying now, you know?
So you're saying that I should repeat what they're saying and that you're understanding what he was saying.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. See that loop there? No, I hear what you're saying though, but like I think it's something that I'm really consciously trying to work on, especially having a podcast. You know, I'm trying, like, yes, I'm trying to hold on to the thoughts that I wanted to bring and points that I wanted to bring up, but at the same time, I'm trying to juggle and take in what you're saying. You know what I mean? That way I can give it the proper thought and response that it deserves, rather than just brush over it like an interviewer. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times in interviews, you see the interviewer will just kind of like brush over what the person they're interviewing said. Like it'll be like a groundbreaking dynamic shift in the podcast if he were just to like give it a proper response versus him just asking the next question. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I feel like
they never like.
I feel like they
capitalize on that.
Well, it's because I think they have like obviously a limited amount of time.
Yeah.
It's almost like a script.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I have to ask these 87 questions. So you give like this really crazy response.
It's a style. It's a style of interviewing, but
which I can't stand.
Yeah.
You know, or even trying to trap, like if, you know, for instance, you were interviewing me and you and I have opposing views on various topics and you're trying to put me into a corner. Like you're trying to trap me like, ha, I got you. Like, so you are what I say you are, you know?
So you're not arguing for the right reasons. You're only arguing to win. You're only arguing to win the argument.
That's it.
Regardless if your point is right. I'm just like, even if you're right, I'm trying to talk you out of being right so I can win. That's most of the time what people do when they converse. But
yeah, like there's this lady, her name was Kathy Newman. She interviewed JP, and that's the whole thing was that.
Oh, you told me that, yeah.
It was just her trying to trap this dude in a corner, and all she was doing was trying to argue the entire time. She wasn't really trying to interview the guy to get his point of view. Because he would give his point of view, and so what you're saying is, no, that's not what I said at all. You know?
Like, she's trying to change the narrative.
Yeah, and paint him as this, or paint him in a particular color. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I want to go ahead and wrap this one up, bro. We're already like at an hour, and then I got to take a fat piss.
All right, no.
So I don't want to kill the momentum, but did you want to do another one?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because we got the setup and everything. But hope you guys enjoyed that episode of the PO3 Podcast. Please like, subscribe, comment, share. We're really trying to grow. I don't want to beg for subscribers or anything like that, but if you enjoy what you're seeing here and you appreciate the work that goes into this and the content that you're getting, a like and a sub would be greatly appreciated. I know the YETI here would appreciate it.
I certainly would.
But like I said, we're gonna keep pumping these out, and I got some vlogs in the works. You know, I'm trying to give more content on the channel and stuff, but I am vlogging again, so that'll be something that you'll see coming up here. I'm just trying to get some clips, like old clips that I've been saving and holding on to. I'm trying to put those together and use them and not let them go to waste. Yeah, so there'll be definitely more content in the future, and hopefully we can do what we talked about, man. Have incorporate another person and just to give like more perspective on the podcast.
Yeah, of course. And as always, if you guys, we read the comments. So if you have a particular topic you'd like for us to discuss, or whether it's of any sort of substance or humorous, let us know, and we'll try to bring it up.
Yeah, the more ideas, the better. I even have like a thing where I want to go over TikToks and stuff that you show me, because you're always cracking me up with those when you actually show them to me, and then just like pop them up here on the screen and react to them. But this is a general podcast, you know. It's mental health, but we like to like there's no boundaries. So, but with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We'll catch you guys on the next one.
Deuces.
My name is Marcus, A.K.A. the Sonic King,
the YETI,
and the YETI.